What's up, everyone? Welcome to DoubleCommaDreams. We have a juicy episode today. I mean, probably the best one we have yet. This is number 7, and we have like 15 great tips. We thought about 7 tips, but we thought 15 would give you guys even more value. So I'm going to let TJ explain these 15 tips and what you should expect from this video.
That was a great intro. So in this episode, we talk about easy SEO wins. We talk about something called a content spreadsheet, which I literally walk you through, show you on screen my own content spreadsheet. And then we talk a little bit about processes, and we've talked about some other stuff that I probably don't need to mention here. You'll just have to watch the episode to figure it out. So we'll see you in this episode. Going live. I hit the record button.
Oh, hello, guys.
Also, we've got an hour. Are you ready for this next hour? It's going to be a good one.
Let's do it. What do you mean we only have an hour?
We could do more than an hour, but it's getting late.
An hour,
late in the day. We both got stuff to do.
That's true. Let's start it off. Let's get this going.
All right. So I'm going to explain the 3 things we're going to be talking about today, and then I want your thoughts on, I just want your thoughts. So the first thing will be easy SEO wins, which you could probably fill half of this stuff because it's going to be stuff that we've done to your site that we've already seen like it starting to win. The second thing is going to be an content spreadsheet, which I've worked kind of hard on, but it's turning out very useful. And then the third thing is processes, and I don't have too many notes for processes, but I thought it would be interesting to talk about it for a little bit. So do you want to dig into easy SEO wins? I've got like quite a few things to share.
Yeah, we did a lot of easy SEO wins for my site. We updated the H1s. I had a ton of H1s all over my articles from the software I used to write with, which that sounds weird, the software I used to write with. Had a ton of H1s everywhere, and we went back through and changed them all to H2s, and then just had the title as H1. We went through and did alt text to all the images. I'm thinking what else we did.
There were also a bunch of 404s, which...
Oh, yes.
You had some very interesting 404s. Like it was your website. Actually, I think it was like YouTube / your website name or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was all the social icons at the bottom. They weren't actually correct URLs, so they were just tagging onto the back of the article link.
Yes, that's what it was. It was like you're supposed to put in, I forget exactly what it was. They thought it was a URL. So it was like your domain / and then like your YouTube channel URL. So it was like basically not a real link. But we fixed those, and that was a really easy win. We just went in and fixed them. Like we used Ahrefs to find it, and then there's like 5 or 6 of them, and we fixed them. That was like really, really easy win. What else did we do? We did some other stuff. We updated the post date. I remember that. We changed it like so that Google thought it was like posted today, which is a really simple thing to do.
And then we also added, I'll make sure all the posts got up to 700 words.
Yes, you were denied. Is that the right word? Denied for...
Yeah, Google said I had thin content, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is.
Which the solution to that was basically make sure all posts had over 700 words. And so there were 2 things we did. The posts that were like 200 to 500, we got past 700. And then the ones that were under 200, which I think there was 2 of them, right?
Yeah.
Basically,
we just totally knocked them off.
Yeah, we just put them in drafts so they weren't real posts. And then we went and found all the links that linked to them and got rid of those links. Which was, you have more internal links than I thought, actually, now that I'm thinking about it.
I've been trying to be really good about keeping up on internally linking and being thoughtful on how I'm doing it.
Which internal links is actually one of my easy SEO wins here. You've used Link Whisper, right?
Yeah.
Link Whisper is good. It's not great, but it's good. If you have a bunch of articles that are all about the same thing, like topical stuff, and not just a bunch of articles that aren't about the same thing, Link Whisper works really good. It's like very simple AI. So it's like this article's about this, and this article has this keyword, so maybe you want to link them. And it makes it really simple. You just push a button, and it finds like 20 that it thinks that you want, and then you just push the buttons of the ones that you want, and it links them. And so that's a really easy win. I've done that. Oh, go ahead.
No, you're good. Keep going.
I've done that, and it does help, but it's not an end-all be-all. Like internal links, the best internal links are ones where you're writing it and you're like, I remember when I wrote this post. If they're reading this, they're gonna really enjoy that post too. And then you're like, go check out this article if you want to learn more. To where Link Whisper is like, trying to fill in links that you have already like written about and it thinks that you need but you don't have yet. So like it's kind of like if you haven't been working on internal links, you can use it to go back in the past and fix them. But the best internal linking strategy is like as you're writing it, think about the posts you've already created.
I've had when I've used Link Whisper, it's been very maybe I haven't had much content on the other side I tried it on. It wasn't the best in how it gave me links. Like it pulled from some very interesting ones, and I'm like, oh, I don't know. So you have to be very like there's a like import all links option where you can just be like, yeah, fill the whole page with the links it needs. I'd be weary of using that because there was some I'm like, that does not make sense there.
Yeah, and that's why I said it was good, not great. Because on my site that has over 600 posts, if I load up like 20 links where it's like, hey, these 20 look good, I'll accept like one of them. The others, like you said, they just don't make sense. Like a human would not put that link there. And a human, if they saw that link, they wouldn't click it because it doesn't make sense.
I will be interested next month to see the results of the easy wins that we put into my site and see how they've correlated with Google. Because we saw a little bit, but I don't know if that's also because I published like 10 posts in 4 days. So
that's true. You could go into and see if most of that new traffic is from those new posts. But even so, just making that keyword switch, like November's income report is going to be ridiculous. I'm going to love to see it.
Me too. I will love to see it if I can keep up with myself. Like I've started to realize that my biggest hurdle is me. It's not the ideas or the content. It's definitely just me. So I'm very interested in how November is going to turn out.
That's a really good realization. I'm going to share a tweet with you that I found that I have found really helpful. Hopefully I share this correctly. So it's by this guy named Joe Davies. Let's see if I can find it. All right. Is that working?
Oh yeah, that looks great. I have
Perfect.
the screen full screen right here. So like it looks really good on my screen.
Perfect. So Joe sent out this tweet that said basically, in 2 hours, what can you do to double your organic SEO traffic? I read through this and I was like, I got to share this on the pod. So the first thing is what you do is you go to Ahrefs, you sort by position, and you find 11 through 20. And he says, identify 5 pages on the cusp of ranking page 1 and their main keyword, and then just add 5 internal links to them. So he's got this image here that kind of like explains Fat Joe, and it's ranking for it looks like 10. I'm actually not sure what each one of these columns are, but he said it himself.
10 is the amount of traffic. No, just kidding. I don't know either. Never mind.
But he found these keywords and then these URLs on his website, and basically it's like, oh, if one is like really close to winning but it's not yet, go find 5 pages that could link to it, and supposedly that's supposed to give it enough link juice. That's a really weird term. We need to come up with a DoubleCommaDreams version of that. Link equity, link juice, to pass it over to the other page.
So wait, go back real quick. When he says identify 5 pages on the cusp of ranking number 1 for the main keyword, add 5 internal links to each of them. So it just any sort of internal links that can link back to another one, or internal links. I guess external would be go to another website. So just any sort of internal links.
Yeah. So if you had I'm trying to think of, we need some ideas of blog topics that we can think about off the top of our head without naming our own niches. So I'm going to use like lights. If you had a post that was like best LED lights for kitchen, but you had 5 other posts like best lights for a work shed, best LED lights for your house, most energy efficient LED lights, take those 3 posts. Technically he says 5, and link them to the site, the article that's ranking 11 to 20. That could like just a little bit more, and it will get to the first page. So I think that's a really easy win.
That's what we could. Yeah, keep going.
So this second one is something I've already done, and I'm really glad that he shared it. So he said, take your top 5 organic pages, which I've actually done this for like all my pages, and add frequently asked questions containing long tail questions. So I have my writer, I actually taught her how to like go into my search console and get how people are going to that page, like what they're typing in, which ends up showing like long tail keywords. And basically just add those long tail keywords as questions to the page. So it increases the word count. It also adds your ability to rank for those keywords better. I'm not sure if this image is too helpful, but Why does my dog have diarrhea at night?
Oh, was he the guy saying? Did you see his tweet when he was like, "Everyone else is looking at all
Yeah.
their income reports, and I've spent the last 5 days writing about diarrhea."
Yeah, I was like, I didn't know that was this guy, but I mean, this image right here, this is all about diarrhea. And he must be ranking 3 to 4. If you Google that, we could probably figure out what his website, but that looks like actually a decent amount of clicks from that. Wow. I wonder what tool this is. Query Hunter WordPress plugin, which I think he built. It says right here like queryhunter.io. I think he built this. So that's a little self-promotion there, but it must be a good tool if he's using
If it
it
works.
to work. So
Hopefully
yeah, that's
it's great and not good.
yeah. So adding in FAQs, really good way to like go back through and promote old content. Number three is basically, I was gonna like talk about this for a whole section, but sidebar, like category posts pretty much. So if you have a article that's not really ranking and you're like, I need to give it some like attention, just put it in a sidebar and be like what he's done here, to where featured posts, and it's just a sidebar thing here, and it's just a list of new topics.
I added inline related posts within my content. So it puts like 2 or 3 links within the middle of the content go into the same category. I have been thinking I might actually do that today and start creating category sides with related posts in that category as well, just so they all start getting the same little bit of love.
Yeah, that's what I've done as well. And so like I'll have category A, category B, category C, and then category A all has the same sidebar that are all the articles in category A. So once you hit category A, you can hit any article inside of category A by using the sidebar. And that, I think, helps tell Google that all of those articles are related without having that like links inside the content and trying to force them in there. Just putting them on the sidebar really helps. But again, that's a really, like, you can do that in 15 minutes, set up a category sidebar. Let's see what's next. I don't remember how far down this goes, but delete 301 content that has no traffic. So what he's saying here is go back through, look at your analytics in the last year, and if there's articles that are getting 0 traffic, just delete them, which I've heard other people say that this works as well. Just deleting articles that get no traffic, just deleting them, like, makes your other traffic look better to Google. Your other
What
articles.
about if you're at my point where half your articles don't get any traffic?
Yeah, I think that's why he says to look in the last 12 months.
Oh, okay.
And that's like, even me, I don't have any articles that have 0 in the last 12 months. So that's like, maybe I need to think more about this 0 to 50. Breadcrumbs. So this was going to be another topic I was going to talk about. What's your thoughts on breadcrumbs? So breadcrumbs,
I have been wanting to add them for a while. I've been trying to find just a really lightweight plugin.
Hold on one second. Let me see.
But
if
I
can
might go with Rank Math.
Can you see that now?
Yeah, your monitor.
Yeah. So for those that don't know, this is breadcrumbs. So where it's like,
oh yeah,
main page, and then it goes into a subcategory, and then another category, and then even another category. And you can do this on your articles as well. They say doing this is really helpful. At least that's what Joe's saying. Yeah, rank math. Breadcrumbs with rank math. He also says to use table of contents. Do you have a table of contents?
Yeah, I have it on the side, and I think it moves up to the top when I go down to mobile.
Do you use a plugin for that?
Yeah.
Do you remember what the plugin is?
I can look real quick for you here. You can keep going though, just so we don't.
Actually, it looks like that was his last tip. But yeah, those 5 tips right there are like really easy wins. And I've got a few more that he hasn't mentioned, and some that you've inspired. So I guess I'll recap real quick. Number 1, look for pages that are ranking 11 to 20 and give them a little boost by just giving them some internal links. Number 2, take your top 5 organic pages that are getting traffic via like Google, and basically look through and see how people are finding them, and then look for long tail keywords by using Google Search Console, and then add those into an FAQ. Also an easy like update, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, you can have a couple hundred words. Number 3, it says create a widget, which is basically just something on the sidebar, like a sidebar over here that links to a bunch of other posts. Number 4 is basically getting rid of articles that don't add value. I'm going to sum that up really quick. And then number 5 is breadcrumbs and table of contents. So did you figure out? I think
I use Lucky WP.
All right, yeah, that's what he uses. So it must be a pretty good plugin. I might try rank math breadcrumbs. I've never done that before. I might try it. I think the pet website would be a good test on it.
I think that'd be a very good website for it.
All right, what's next? Oh, the next easy win is adding images and a YouTube video on the page. So I'll add a little disclaimer here. It doesn't even have to be your YouTube video. So I've got a Google search here that is, how much does spray foam cost? And I went through these. I went through some of these, not all of these. And the ones that I went through did not have YouTube videos. So I'm going to open them up here. So we've got 1 image, 2 image, 3 images, 4, 5, 6.
Is that the number 1 article?
7. Yeah, this is the number 1 article, and it has 7 images. This is number 2, and it has 1, 2, 3, 4, and a YouTube video. So like, if they added this YouTube video maybe a little bit higher, or made a custom video of like how this is how much spray foam insulation costs, to where this is how to install it, which doesn't really have too much to do with the cost of it. They could probably rank higher. Number 3 has 1 image. This isn't even an image. This is a related article. So this would be a pretty easy win, assuming there aren't a ton of backlinks to this, because there's no images and no YouTube video. What's this one? No images, no YouTube video. So my point is, if you're competing with these guys, if you make your own video and then add like 5 images, like first page, you'll get there. And actually, now that I'm looking at it, some of these are really high DR domains, like First American Roofing, ng.com, Home Advisor, Fixer. So I may be wrong there that it'll be easy, but you'll definitely have better content than them. I can say that. Forbes, it might be hard to beat Forbes.
And I will say, we've talked about moats and branding in past episodes. Making a YouTube video for your article can be extremely easy if you come at the mindset of you're making it for the viewer on the website. So how I'm making videos right now is I just take my article, I put it into a Google slide, like how we do the niche reports, and then I just read everything that's from the article, and I add my own opinion and my own topics and conversation around it to keep them engaged. But it's really easy. I just sit here, I read from the slide, and then I add my own commentary. And then it's exactly what the article is saying, and then it's posted on the article as well.
Yeah, so that's like a really simple, really easy way to add a YouTube video. And now if that YouTube video ever gets monetized, now you can make money from the YouTube video. But the main purpose of it is just to add authority to your website, so that if someone comes to it and they see the colors of the YouTube video match the website, there's a little bit more of a brand authority there. Plus, if there's like, I know that Google has manual reviewers. If they're reviewing your website and they're like, this dude made a whole YouTube channel explaining some of these topics, they're going to be like, they're going to give you some leeway that you're probably doing something right, compared to a website that looks like it's AI generated. Also, yeah, images and YouTube, those are easy wins. Also, images that aren't stock photos, even using stock photos is okay. But if you can make them not stock photos, that really helps. Like, I guess I don't want to share exactly what you did, but like you basically took something, added some words to it, and then your logo, and it helped. Like, those are nice brandable images.
The 2 photos I just added are definitely from deposit images, but we're testing to see if it helps.
Yeah, there is alt text on those as well. So the next thing I was going to share was copywriting and titles. So just making your titles better, which we can go down through here and see, like, there's probably some ways to make this better. Like this one right here. The 3 things I'll say that really help titles is parentheses, numbers, and dates, which dates are
that second one really stuck out to me, the 2022 guide with the parentheses.
Yeah, and if you look, I have all kinds of stuff. If you look, that's pretty much the only one with a number, and it has brackets, so it kind of does both of those, numbers and brackets. None of these other ones have numbers or brackets. So
a couple of them have the 2022, but
yeah, you're right, but they are at the beginning.
Yeah.
And by having this first, by having it closer to the beginning of the title, that's probably why they're ranking number 2, is because it matches like almost exactly what I typed in there. But yeah, so when it comes to titles, just adding, I wish I had a better example of this. So like, how much does spray foam cost? I'm going to edit this real quick just to show what a better title might be like. So 2022 square foot. Actually, a really good way is they can make their own tool and just say 2022 calculator. And now if we view that, it might cut it off. But if someone's looking up how much does spray foam cost and they see that this answers their question and there is a calculator on the page, like that's going to get a click over this, over this, over this. So changing your titles to be just a little bit more like curiosity driven, to basically just adding numbers, parentheses, or dates to them is an easy win. All right. The next thing is something that you inspired, and it is a Wikipedia backlink. So you can take this one away.
Oh, how I was trying to create the Wikipedia page for myself?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a hard process to do. There are some services where you can pay a guy to create your Wikipedia page and he can make it really noteworthy. But Wikipedia is very difficult to get onto. But there are some other Wikipedia alternatives that are easy to get onto, like I forget the two names, but they're just like Wikipedia. They're just not as edited and like authority driven. But I think we've talked about that on if a Wikipedia backlink would be worthy.
Oh yeah, I drew an image here. You're gonna love this image.
What is it?
All right, I gotta stop sharing my screen and then I gotta reshare this Paint file. I drew it in Paint, but I drew it in Paint because it's gonna we'll be able to understand what I mean by it. So we've got this Wikipedia article here pointing to this. I called it money, but basically your website that you want to rank. And if it ranks, it'll make you money. And so you were talking about like this Wikipedia backlink may be really good pointed to your website. But my theory is that just a Wikipedia link alone, like just a link from Wikipedia, isn't necessarily good. But if there is, for example, if we have a website here that links to you, which links to your website, another website here, another website here. So to put it in like summary, if this is a good link, then if this is a good page, this number 1 right here is a good page and it's linking to your page, which is number 2, then it will be good. But if you don't have these here, then this may not be the best link. Again,
so would you say if that main Wikipedia page, say like it's soccer terms, like best or how to play soccer with children,
mm-hmm.
I don't know, and then you have all these links to the left that are pointing to this article, like, hey, read this article. It has the best tips for playing soccer with children. And then the Wikipedia links to your page saying, this is the best page for this tip. That your page would get more link juice because all those pages are trusting Wikipedia, which then puts its trust onto you, which gives you even more authority.
Yeah, exactly. Which now that you mentioned soccer, this kind of does look like a play, but that's exactly would be my like prediction, is that just a Wikipedia link with nothing else pointing to that Wikipedia link to your site is kind of, I wouldn't say worthless, because I mean it's from Wikipedia, but it's not as valuable as going out and finding another Wikipedia article that has a bunch of links to it that's already ranking in Google for something, which off the bat, there may not be that many people searching in Google for your name. But if you find top soccer stadiums in the United States and you find a way to get a link there to your soccer website, that is going to be a good backlink, at least from Wikipedia.
That makes sense.
That's my theory anyways. I have yet to test it, which I think I was going to... Yeah, go ahead.
That's almost what we talked about with YouTube is if you have a bunch of people viewing the videos, is the link juice higher than a video that you just post and doesn't get any views?
Yeah, so this is another really good topic that I did not write down. So backlinks from YouTube, which there's a really good method here where you take an article and then you take a YouTube video and the article has your YouTube video and then your YouTube video points back to your article, which I definitely do. And you have started doing, which we found out you have to like verify yourself to put links in YouTube descriptions now, which we haven't tried on DoubleCommaDreams yet, have we? But yeah, so if a YouTube video, I actually have a YouTube video that has 22 million views. And if there's a link in that description, it's going to be worth more than a YouTube video with 5 views. That's also another prediction. I have not tested that.
I will be testing it because my one video has 2 views right now, but they are search-worthy videos, so we'll see if they decide to take off. They are to build a little bit of hopefully backlinks with YouTube's DR just a little bit, but they are also on there to show authority, and maybe people will just watch the video instead of just read the article and spend 10 minutes on there watching the video. Hopefully my commentary is a little bit better, that they're like, oh, this is better than me reading. Let me listen to see what this guy has to say.
Yeah, having the YouTube video on page also increases the time on page, which is something I've found. When I removed...
Don't your RPMs go up the longer someone's time on page?
Yeah, so I believe it's every 30 seconds, like an ad refreshes, and it counts as another ad being viewed. But my experience is I redid my theme. You remember when I redid my theme? It was probably a year ago.
Yeah.
On the main website. When I did that, I went from Thrive themes to GeneratePress. All my YouTube videos on my pages got removed because of how they were imported into Thrive themes. And that means I haven't gone back in and added them all, but I've been able to check the time on page. The time on page went down when all the YouTube videos got removed. So that's like a perfect test of knowing that adding YouTube videos does increase time on page.
Hey, I have a trade for you, TJ. We can talk about it outside of...
A trade? All right.
I got a trade for you.
All right. We'll talk about it after the pod.
Yeah. Keep going.
There was something else I was going to say, but I forgot.
Also, we're going to try to switch how we do the podcast a little bit. We were talking earlier and we're like, would it be better if one was the expert and one was the amateur? Which honestly, that is how it is. So I'm just going to go
I wouldn't say I'm an expert.
One with more
someone earning 10,000 and someone earning 0, which hopefully that changes.
That hurts a little bit.
I didn't mean it like that. No, I hope I can help you earn 10,000. That would be amazing.
Yeah, so I think we're going to start going from that type of where I just start asking TJ questions more than trying to interject my thoughts fully into it as well. I think that'd be more beneficial.
All right. I also don't feel like too much of an expert, so I may answer a lot of those with like, I don't know, I guess I'm going to figure out for next pod, or I don't know, I'm going to test that, which hopefully that if you inspire me to test things and I figure out something that wins, that's a win for me.
Yeah.
All right. So we've went over a bunch of stuff. Another win is using a pixel called Short Pixel. Have you heard of it?
Using a what called Short Pixel?
A plugin.
Okay.
Did I call it something else?
Yeah, I thought you said using a pixel called Short Pixel.
I probably did. But yeah, so Short Pixel takes all of your images. You basically install the plugin and then click run, and you have to pay it money after so many, like 100 images or something. But it takes all your images, it optimizes them, so like lossly, lossless. I don't know all of it means, but there's one you pick that's better than the others, and then also converts it to WebP format. And just doing those alone, if you're doing like trying to optimize for page speed, though, that really matters. So just installing Short Pixel and like clicking the run button, that's a really easy win. I call it an easy win because you don't really have to do much, but it does change your site quite a bit.
Yeah, we went through. Luckily, all my photos that were saved are already WebP, but those 2 images I put on there last night was not. So I definitely need. And also, I think, does a Zoic Leap help with that as well?
Oh, yeah. We can make a whole episode on how to use a Zoic Leap.
Which I don't get until I get monetized, unfortunately, but that's okay.
Which I'll have to talk to you after this call because I'm not monetized on my website number 3, and I was able to set up Zoic Leap. But it also might be because I'm already set up with Premium, the Zoic Premium. So we can talk after this pod. But another thing I wanted to share that is an easy win, and this is something that you're already doing, which I'm doing on, I think, every website that I own, is basically adding on your homepage, adding your most recent articles. So Niche Pursuits, this was just an example that popped up that I thought I would see if they're doing it as well. And Niche Pursuits is doing it. You can see here latest articles, and it's all the latest articles.
My site's so new. It literally, I've just been very focused on getting content out. Design can come at another point. I've really switched mindsets there. My homepage is literally every single post I've ever published. 63. So it's coming straight from the homepage.
Yeah, and that Google searches your homepage every now and then. So when it sees a new article, it's like, Also, it searches it often because almost actually, I think every page links back to your homepage because you got like this little thing here. And so
Yeah.
it'll search it pretty often to see if stuff changes. And when a new one gets added, it's like, whoa, there's a new article here. Let's index it. Let's check it out, see what's in there. So that's an easy win.
Another easy win. Manually indexing your pages. Easy win. I had a post that I manually indexed, and it was on Google the next day, I believe, compared to ones that
24 hours
for some reason still aren't indexed that I didn't manually index. So take that extra 2 seconds, go to your search console, the third button down that says inspect URL, toss it in there, inspect, and then add index. It will help.
There's usually like a grayed out button that's like, this isn't indexed, request indexing, and you click it, right?
Request indexing.
Do you know there's a limit you can do to that?
Really? Have you hit it?
I've hit it. I think it's like 10 or 15 or something. It's really small.
Oh.
So if you have like 300 posts and you're not doing it whenever you're like that website that I haven't told you the domain of yet.
He also undermined me on that domain.
We can have a whole episode about that. It's not that bad. But I was like, there's only 30 posts and I have 100, which that's like a red flag. Like the content probably isn't that good. But I was like, what if I just try to add all these index? And I start doing it, and then I get to like, it's probably number like 11. And they're like, you've hit your limit for today. And I was like, there's a limit. So for like a whole week, I just kept adding like 10 more.
Another easy win. Sorry, I'm taking off my shoe. Another easy win is using different search engines. Bing and DuckDuckGo are doing a lot to try to get try to come back up and do better with search results. Like Bing will let you index your page every single day, and I've gotten like 30 to 40 people this month. Actually, I'd even track my Bing. I should put that on my income report.
You should. I would love to see those numbers. I probably need to log into my Bing, but I don't remember my Microsoft account. So
let me see if I can toss it up here. Man, that's out of the scope. We'll just keep going. But those are two easy wins, is using other search engines to get just a little bit more traffic, because each visitor is $1. Give or take.
A penny. Each visitor's a penny. That's a good way to think about it. So I've actually went through most of these. Short pixel, breadcrumbs, sidebar, newest posts on homepage. Oh, Ahrefs content gap. I can share this. So Ahrefs, how do I add this? There we go. They have this tool that you use called a content gap. And basically you put in your website and then you put in a competitor's website. By the way, the websites I've been using in this video are not websites I own. They're just random websites I found on the net. So you put in your website and then you put in your competitor's website or their specific page. You can even put in your page versus their page. These two were two articles I got off this homepage here. And Ahrefs basically says, yo, they're ranking for this, but you're not. And so you can see here.
That's a dirty little tool. You go, sorry, man, I'm going to take your.
You can steal their keywords, and you can see like you can sort by volume. So spray foam insulation cost calculator. Whatever page I picked isn't even ranking for the calculator term. So they could like add in another 500 words about a calculator. They could pay someone to create a calculator, put that on the page. Instant increase in rankings.
Let's reword steal and better describe it as help an audience that's thirsty.
I don't know if thirsty's I like how about we say create better content than your competitors.
Yeah.
Better serve your audience.
There we go.
That's good.
Thirsty might not be it either, but
yeah, just by adding in the word calculator or talking about a calculator or putting one on the page, look at this. This keyword, spray foam calculator, here's another calculator. They'd hit all these keywords just by putting in the word calculator. And so that's an easy win. And then there's a few other ones. Foam wall. I didn't see anything about foam wall. You could put in FAQ about a foam wall, and that would add in probably some page views a month.
We really should do a video about what these applications suggested volume, what they think it is versus what it actually is, to show people like discrepancies in it.
That's one of the reasons I don't necessarily want to put my website number 1 out there, is because Ahrefs is like, you're getting 1,000 page views a month. Good job. I'm like, that's 10% of it's actually like 10% of my traffic. It's not really that bad, but it's like what Ahrefs says versus what I'm getting, a big difference. And if my competitors knew that, they would be also trying to rank up for that keyword. So
never mind then.
that's no, it's a good point. It's a good point. You shouldn't always take this stuff to heart. So yeah, Content Gap, really good tool. I'm going to start using it. I probably should teach my editor how to use it. This would be a really good tool for her to master.
It's also great, we can talk about another time, is once you teach her all this, she can go teach someone else, and then you can go to a next level where you're not even looking at it, and she's like just running it because she has the whole idea.
Make her the manager.
Content manager. I saw some guy on Twitter talking about he just hired one.
How is this ranking? This is like 500.
If they hired out a $100 plugin and had someone just build like a nice calculator,
yeah,
they would be doing very well on that page.
All right, so I think I went through all the things. It's been like 35 minutes, so it's not bad. I could probably talk about some of these a little bit more, but I feel like 35 minutes is a good amount of time to go through all these breadcrumbs, sidebar, images, YouTube, link whisper, copywriting, update post date, which we didn't talk about. Maybe we did. We just go through and you update your post date. Doing an Ahrefs audit, which I would do, but it would reveal my domain because I'm on my personal account here. Basically, you do an audit and it tells you some stuff that's really helpful. It's like, you got some 404s you need to fix. You've got a link here that goes to a page that is like not good. You've got some images that need some alt text. It's just really helpful to see some easy wins. So
and you don't have to pay for Ahrefs to have all that information. You can put your URL in there and they'll give it to you all for free. You just can't explore more keywords and all the other cool features it offers. But you can see if there's any broken links, what your health score is.
You could turn that into a video teaching people how to sign up to Ahrefs for free and what they can do with it, like the tips and tricks.
I'm excited for this channel. We have a lot of really different ideas. Well, not different, but ideas that I don't think a lot of people are trying to shoot for.
We could make that a whole podcast episode as well.
We could.
Too
bad we're working on our niche sites.
Our brand websites, our brands. We're working on our brands.
Oh yeah.
We're trying to change the wording that we use for our niche, for our projects.
Yeah, so, literally.
I went through a bunch of these easy wins. The next thing I want to go over, and Nico, feel free to ask me any questions you have about this. But this is what I toss over to my editor to be able to tell her which ones to edit and how to edit them.
Already, I got a couple questions.
All right.
So show me the formula you use for all these to hit. Do you manually put more words are good, or is there a formula that goes in that automatically puts that in?
No, that's a really good question. So right now I have a really simple one. I have a longer, this is a really simple like spreadsheet compared to the one I use like probably every 6 months or something. But if you look here, well, I copied and pasted it, so it's not there anymore. But you do a formula, you just type it into Google and you'd be like, if the word count is less than 1,800 words, add more words. If it's not, say it's good. And that's really simple. I've also done one in the future or in the past where you also check images as well. So you say, if it's under 1,800 words, say add more words. If it's under 3 images, say add more images. And then based on that, she can do what she needs to do.
Do you have a script that runs it on your pages? Because I know you're spying on my pages.
Spying. Let's go to one of these that is a WordPress website. So I'm going to go like number 5 here. We'll go to one that's specifically, let's see if this is a WordPress. This looks like WordPress.
That's a WordPress site.
You add post-sitemap.xml. Yep, this is exactly what I was looking for. This is all their posts, which is really interesting. They only have 26 posts. But if you use Yoast, you can see here, it gives you the URL, and then it also tells you how many images. And so I literally just copy and paste this. So I'll put this here, paste it, and it pastes perfectly. Now, it doesn't look the best, but if I Control-Shift-V and paste it, I don't even know what that was. You can paste it without all the formatting, so it fits much better. So it's not wanting to do it now, but You'll have to trust me that it does work. But you can see the images. It gets the images from the specific each page. So that's how I do that. And if you want me to run through the rest of this real quick, so SERP is basically just a report that I get from SERP Robot. I think it's SERP Robot. And you just give it a bunch of keywords and it tells you what you're ranking for. Word count, I had a developer create a plugin that I can click export word count, and it goes through all my posts and gives me all the word counts to them, and then spits out a Excel sheet that I just copy and paste over here. Super easy. Takes like 30 seconds. Media.
Yo, you want to send me that plugin?
Yeah, I can share it. Media, this is actually Media Vine. So this is specifically how much money I'm making. So these are actually dollar amounts per article. As you can see, the top ones are like $1,200, $1,300.
Is that a day?
This is per
Or is it
month,
a month?
per 30. Every now and then I'll do like per since year to date. So for some reason, if I scroll down here, hopefully I don't reveal any of my sites. Mediavine only goes to so many, like you have to have at least 15 page views. So you can see here, this one has 14, and it's number 207. So what I'll do instead of doing the last 30 days, I'll do like last 365 days. And then I get more URLs in this report, more data. So if I go back to my master one here, which is earnings, you can see once I like these all don't have data for it. And then there's a bunch down here that have like no data pretty much. And that's just because Mediavine doesn't have any data on them.
Would you be willing to share a blank version of this if somebody was asking for it?
Yes. I say that with I hesitated because there's a lot of work to do even with the blank version. So I could definitely share this spreadsheet, but then you'd still have to go to SERP Robot and put your information in, download that plugin, put your information in for Mediavine. I don't remember what total is, so I'm not going to go to that. Analytics was Google Analytics. And it's really like I could probably make a YouTube video that shows them how to use it. But yeah, that's a really good point. That would be a great opt-in now that I think about it.
And set up a guide on how to do it. Be like, this is how you work this whole spreadsheet.
I feel like a lot of content
you could put it on a Gumroad.
$9. I feel like a lot of content is created for people who are currently building a website, and this would be a really good product, a really good offer for someone who has a website but is like, I want to squeeze more out of what I got, and this would be a great tool for that.
Do you also think that it's good for people wanting to start out on the right track though?
That's true.
Instead of coming back and being like, I got to add all this back in now.
Yeah, what I will say is like this tool, even right now, I think you have like 50 articles.
Yeah. I'm
not sure if it would be too helpful to you, because for me, the most helpful thing is like putting in earnings here. So I can sort by how much money I've made per article. Because if an article is getting 20,000 page views a month, but it's making me $0, I'm like, maybe I don't want to update that page.
Yeah, I have the same sheet, but mine like highlights green and red on if there's too many images or if there's not enough words. But I don't have the income portion of it. Of course, I don't have any income coming out of it.
Yes, you are right. That would be to do word count and images would be a really good way to use this report.
And then I also have, does it have a snippet? And if it does or doesn't, it highlights red or green. But I have to manually enter that one just because it can't.
That's a good point. You could probably do YouTube videos as well.
Yeah.
Which, now that I have 600 posts, like I'll share it with you after this podcast. I do have a sheet where it's like URL, category, subcategory. Does it have a YouTube video? And then a bunch of other stuff that I might share in a future video. But you are right. Keeping track of that stuff. I wish I paid my, I'm getting really good at not saying names. I paid my editor per hour to fill that out for me. And she probably spent way too many hours filling that out when I could have, like, after I posted a post, just filled it out myself. And then as time went on, like, grew it.
I think it is good to have everything in one area, because WordPress can get a little confusing just looking at all. And then you're going to analytics and then Mediavine.
And you can see, make this a little bigger. You can see really quick through here. Like, let me try to find an easy win. So I've actually went through and updated a lot of these because they were winning, and I was like, I want them to win more. So I just add more words, add images. Let me find a really easy one. So, for example, this one is number 8. actually, this is a bad example because it hasn't made me much money, but it's number 8 where it's ranking for that keyword, like number 8. So going from number 8 to like number 4, probably pretty easy. So it's only got 1,000 words. So I'll just tell her to be like, can you add 800 words to this article? Going from 1,000 to 1,800 is like, might be enough to get it to number 3. And then add some images, a YouTube video, maybe number 2. And then I wait a little bit, get some backlinks, boom, number 1. So that's what this tool is really good for. This one as well, which I wish I had numbers here for Mediavine, but I guess it's just a matter of time waiting for them, because even like 116 views a month, that's what this is right here. It's number 5, and so if I got it from number 5 to number 1, like I'll probably more than double it, maybe even triple or quadruple it.
Are all those NAs ones that aren't making any cash for you?
They may be making money for me. However, Mediavine just doesn't have enough data for them yet. Like I said, I did the last 30 days, and Mediavine only counts so many URLs. So if it's under like 15 page views, it just doesn't count it, which is really interesting. I don't know why. I may just need to update this. But yeah, I found this tool really helpful. By the way that I put like the SERPs here, and then it's a number, and the way that I get this data on the SERP tab over to the master tab is I do something called a VLOOKUP. And I could probably make a whole tutorial about this. Maybe if I get a comment, I'll make a tutorial about it. But this data is actually getting pulled from these tabs. So if I go back to the Mediavine tab and I delete it all and then I put new data in, it'll show on this master one right here to be updated.
I like that. We have a lot of good options on things to make videos over right now.
We do.
What? Oh man, 1 second. Sorry. I would be interested. Sorry, keep going.
I can kind of share my thoughts on what to update, which I have some notes here. What to update and how to update. If you want me to go into that real quick.
Yeah, let's do it.
So the first thing, I taught my editor pages that have 0 traffic that are over 6 months old. Like what they need is probably an internal link, which we kind of talked about a little bit. So they've got 0 traffic and they're 1,000 words long. It's either a bad keyword, which most of the keywords I pick are not bad keywords. In fact, I don't think I've picked any bad keywords. It's
All
like
right,
super,
TJ.
It's super like the ones that are already ranking. The reason I'm not getting any traffic is because the pages that are outranking me are like Forbes or MSN or Google or YouTube. So, and then the third one is like Google just hasn't really found it valuable yet. So I point some internal links to it, and then they'll like that's basically what I do with pages that have 0 traffic that are 6 months old. If they're less than 6 months old, sometimes I just need to wait a little bit more. So I've got posts now that are like 2 months old that have no traffic, and I can't complain about that. Like they're just 2 months old. It's just getting started. Pages that are in between the spots of 2 to 10. So obviously, if they're spot 1, I'm not doing anything to them. If they're between 2 and 10, I want to get them to number 1. And so if they're between 2 and 10, the things I do are really simple. Basically, I update them. And I can talk about specifically how I update them, but the main things are like adding words, images, YouTube video, and a snippet, maybe a little bit more optimization. I have my editor go through and look at Search Console data to optimize some of this text that's on the page. And then also, lastly, if they're past page 10, I've found if they're past page 10, they probably don't have any images. So I just add images to them, and that helps get them to 2 to 10. And that's probably because of my DR, like what my DR is right now. I think it's like 50. So it's between 50 and 60. And so just having text and maybe a YouTube video is enough to get me on the first page for whatever I'm targeting keywords that are low competition. So if I'm past page 10, I need to like really work on getting images and videos and stuff like that on there. So
Theodore.
Yeah.
I have an idea.
What's your idea?
It just you have some I can't say it because it reveals your domain. We can talk about it after.
All right.
We can talk about domains. I think I have a wonderful idea.
All right. Have you written it down? Because I don't want you to lose it. Now I'm intrigued.
We'll see how much you care for me as a friend.
Did you find a backlink opportunity for me to link to you?
I think I have a few now that I've been thinking about it.
All right. While you're working on that, I can share a little bit about how I update these pages. So how do I make them better? So I already mentioned adding a word count, which sometimes that looks like adding in other keywords. So if the article is about best LED lights, some sub keywords might be like best LED lights for this, like 5 different things that you want to use an LED light for. Maybe different reviews of other LEDs, really quick in a couple sentences. Also, frequently asked questions is a good way to add word count, which you found useful, right?
Yeah.
Having like an FAQ section.
I will say, have you looked into schema markups for that
I
stuff?
haven't.
I've seen a lot of people talk about that, and I don't know really what it is fully. So I
Not
think
good
it
or
would be
good?
something for us to. I know they use it in like recipe blogs and other stuff, but I
Yeah,
don't know if
reviews.
it's beneficial for our type of blogs.
Oh, that would be a good something for me to look into.
Yeah.
Because I know schemas are like 4 out of 5 stars or like recipe stuff, like you said. So back to how to update. I mentioned text, FAQ. What else? Links to other articles. Every now and then, I'll add internal links to other articles that increase the page itself, or even links to external articles if they're needed. Snippets.
Also, internal links. Just go to the bottom or the top. Actually, probably the bottom of your page, and just put, "Hey, if you want to read more about this overall topic, check out our category page here." Don't say category, but just link to the category page, and then every article is going to go back to that top one.
That's a good point.
The normal page. And you don't have to have it, even just putting it at the end and being like, hey, go check out more about this topic. It gives that main big keyword that you one day want to rank for a little bit more juice into it. Juice is so weird.
I know. 2 thoughts. We should talk about content silos in a future podcast. And also, do you think it'd be easy to use GeneratePress to do that? Like generate a hook for every category page linked to the category after the post?
Yeah. You would just put, you would have your container, your text, and then dynamic text, I think it is. Then you change the dynamic text to the category name.
I see. I realized that dynamic text sometimes does not work well.
Really?
It works well in most cases, but when you start changing some stuff, I figured that out on the site that you designed. Speaking of, I am definitely not an expert in design, so maybe that's something I could interview you about.
Yeah, I do have some expertise, not a lot. We're probably in the same category there.
You've designed most of my websites.
Yeah, let's not go tell people the websites then.
Even the websites, like even the one that I am using for Black Friday, you designed. I'm just putting the functionality behind it. Now that I think about it.
I do like that. That was a good one. Let's not get out of topic here. We're doing good.
How to update? Do you have any other ideas on how you would update an article, like on-page SEO?
So links, photos, all the things you mentioned. Go back with a clear head and think about how you can benefit your audience more now that you're not stuck in the writing phase.
Like put yourself in the writer's shoes, or I mean the reader's shoes.
Coming back with a cleaner head, like, oh, I should have added this. I couldn't think of it at the moment. Like an extra couple hundred words. I guess it's the same as the FAQ.
That's true. Something that's helped me is, like I mentioned the calculator earlier, those help a lot. Without revealing my niche, some of my best pages have tools that I have developed that help my readers.
Yeah, you have a couple different calculators that work really well, which you've almost integrated into a whole profile system now.
Yeah, they work really well. I spent $500 developing the first one, and I've probably spent a couple thousand after that. They have paid for themselves. I wish I was still sharing my screen. One of the ones that makes it one of the pages that makes $1,000 a month has this tool that I've developed.
Interesting.
So we're at 53 minutes, and the last thing I was going to talk about was processes, which this can be a 50-50 conversation because I don't know anything. Well, I know some stuff about setting up a process, but I need to grow in this area. I need to learn how to set up a process. So I have like all kinds of different processes that we could talk about: keyword research process, backlinks process, images process, writer process, which one of the best processes I have right now is how I trained my editor to go through and basically update those old posts, and how I taught her how to do that. I basically just recorded a video of me doing it, and then I said, "This is how I do it. You think you can do it?" And she said, "Sure." And then she did it, and I was like, "Wow, that was really easy to get off my plate." What do you think?
Yeah. I would love to incorporate. Sorry, I was thinking about the links. I was like, man, this is a good idea. Yeah, no, that is a great idea. I would love to learn how you trained your writer to then train mine. But I would also love to learn how other people are training their writers, which is a different topic about someone we reached out to. Maybe one day we'll shade that out. Who knows?
I'll share it. I'll share it without revealing who it was.
Okay, yeah, you can.
So I reached out on Twitter. By the way, if you aren't following me on Twitter, I was supposed to put this in my income report, and I forgot all about it. I don't even know my Twitter handle because
I think it's that 6-digit niche.
Yeah, it's 6-digit niche. You should follow me if you haven't already.
Mine is also Veggie Folk. Follow me as well.
Veggie Folk. Are you keeping it like that?
I didn't know it was that one, actually. When you tagged me, I was like, oh, it is that one.
Yeah. So I'm not going to reveal who this was, but I asked them how their website was going. And I asked them because I knew it was going well. And if I asked them if they tried YouTube videos. And they replied pretty short way back. They said a bit of videos, doing okay. Like two things. So it's pretty short. I said, have you considered doing consulting? I'd love to ask you some questions and pay you for your expertise. And then they responded like 1 a.m. They said, no time for it. Sorry, period. I was like, I'm not taking no for an answer. So I came up, I think it was Alex Ramosi say this. He's like, no, it wasn't Alex. Maybe it was. He said, everyone has a price. So it was like $1,000 an hour? ? And then he finally replied back and he said, hey, I can help for free if you have a specific question or think you need help with something specifically, not doing consulting. So we can talk about that for a little, like to end the episode. But I thought it was really interesting that they didn't want to accept the $1,000. What's your thoughts on why they might not want to do that?
I'll preface with a different thought that can lead into that is how, because when Theodore first mentioned that to me and it was like no time, my thought was normally people would be like, oh, he doesn't have enough time. But I've been able to train myself to think, no, I haven't given him a reason to say yes. I either haven't fit a monetary value or haven't given enough value for him to say yes. Somebody will always say yes if you provide enough reason to say yes. So the $1,000 an hour, he was like, okay, this guy's really committed. What can I help him with? Maybe I won't set the cash.
That's really interesting, yeah.
But then also, I don't know why people don't do consulting. Maybe, I think you mentioned that one guy didn't want to put a certain amount of money on his time.
Yeah, maybe they don't want that anchor locked in their brain that my time's now worth $1,000 an hour. There's 1,000 is pretty high. That's like $2 million if you work average 2,000. But anyways, another reason might be taxes. Maybe he didn't want to complicate his taxes or something like that. That was the only other reason I thought of. But I was just like, if I can talk to this guy for an hour and learn some stuff and, something that increases the revenue on my website by 1%, that $1,000 is well worth it. So to me, that $1,000, like 4 years ago, $1,000, a lot of money. $1,000 now, I'm like, I want to spend it so I can make even more.
Yeah, you've even mentioned we've talked about going to some conferences and like learning the most from just sitting by people at a conference and just hearing what they're talking about.
Yeah, it's hard not to mention names. I have a friend who owns a travel blog that is doing very well, like probably almost 100,000 a month in revenue. And I was talking to them and I was like, hey, how did you get into SEO? What are your secret tips? What do you like? Help me out a little. And he ended up auditing my site and helped me a ton with a bunch of mistakes that I did not know I had. So bunch of gratitude to that guy. But he said one of the secret tricks was if you go to these conferences, he says, sometimes just getting together with people in person, they'll tell you secrets that they'll never tell you over the internet. They'll never say in a blog post. They'll never put in a tweet. And so I've always had that like in the back of my head because I've never been to a conference before. I would love to go meet some people, learn some stuff, even just travel, just like going somewhere new, learning some new stuff. That's right up my alley. I love that stuff. So that's something we need to do together next year, I think. Well, I would say this year, but We're kind of booked up this year. We've got a lot of
Yeah,
stuff
we got a
going
lot
on.
of stuff going on. Next year would be very beneficial for it.
We probably need to be more proactive about it. So we can even be like once a quarter. Let's set up once a quarter, which I looked up conferences, SEO conferences. It's hard to find them. They're not, I thought there would be like one a week in the US. Not really. There's like 3 or 4 big ones, right? Or have you looked?
I haven't looked really. I've only looked on like a quick Google and then clicked the first link and just looked at a couple.
Yeah, there's not a really good like website that says here are the SEO conferences this year. Here's the section for the US part. Something like flying around me and messing up my hat. Here's the Europe part and a bunch of other parts. So that is like that would be a good website idea now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, SEO conferencefinder.com.
That's perfect.
Ticketmaster. But yeah, we're at an hour. This has been, what did you think of our new little format of just me being the person who is listening and trying to understand while you're educating in a sense? Or like expounding on your ideas?
It felt like it flowed a lot easier, but I'll also say I'm not going to necessarily say it's because you were asking me questions. I feel like it's because I had notes prepared that I'm talking about this. I know what I'm talking about this. I got images for this. So that seemed to really help.
Yeah. I think one of my skill sets is being able to, I was actually thinking about this during the podcast and how I talk to people outside of the podcast is my ability to ask very interesting questions that dive a little bit deeper into what someone's thinking. So I think that's a strength that I can bring out onto the podcast is thoughts you have and then have you expand on them and like pull them out of you.
That's a good point. I will say if we go to a conference, I don't know how to put this in words. You're going to shine at a conference. I'm definitely more introverted. On camera, it may not seem like that. I'm definitely more like quieter, working like, I don't know. Not that you're not, but I have seen you with people. People love you.
Theodore and I have been friends for 13 years now. And while he does talk me up like that, we have learned that our skills are kind of meshing in now on our personality traits that each other have. Like he has strengths that I don't, I have strengths that he doesn't. And it works really well for our friendship at times.
Yes, it has.
It has. But it's been good. This has been fun. I'm really enjoying this podcast and how we're.
Did you learn anything on this podcast from me?
I did. I think I'm going to update my spreadsheet a little bit more now.
It's very helpful, especially when you get. It might not be helpful to people under 100 posts, but once you get 100 posts or more, or if you're already making money, that spreadsheet, what did I call it? The content spreadsheet, very helpful.
I think an episode that would be helpful, Mary, is when you show me how to set up taxes for my blog.
Yes. And maybe even setting up an LLC, which you have one, but kind of, but not really.
I'll rename it. I still pay my dues on it.
Oh, that's true. Also, another thing that I could talk about, we'll save this for another pod, but I need to switch to an S Corp. I did the math. I will save a lot of money if I switch to an S Corp. I was supposed to do it this year, or I should have done it this year, the beginning of this year, but I didn't. However, I recently found out you can file an S Corp election late. And so if I'm able to do that, I will be able to save a lot of money on taxes. It switches your business from being just.
I'll buy a stock of it.
That's a C Corp. That's a C Corp.
Oh.
Actually, it might be. That's a public company. Yeah, S Corp, I think you can do like shares and stuff. But with S Corp, I know for a fact it's like the way that you are paid is now the business is a thing. And then you are paid money from the business as an employee. And then any profits that come over from the business can come around without going through the tax loop of being paid to you as an employee. So it's definitely people that make more than 100 grand a year. Lots of them do S Corps. In fact, I think if you're over 100 grand and you're still an LLC, it's like as you start pushing that barrier up, your reason for getting audited, or your probability of getting audited goes up because it's like, I think the IRS looks and they're like, if they're smart, they need to be switching to an S Corp. So if they're not switching to an S Corp, there's probably a reason. We need to go check out why.
Why are these dummies spending an extra 30 grand in taxes? We need to go check this out.
That's a perfect way to put it. Yes. That we can. I can do some more research on that and then explain it on a pod, though. Another pod.
Yeah, if you wanna give the recap. We can end this and then get it going.
All right, I'll do the recap after I end the show, but I will say the next 4 or 5 episodes we have planned, and they're going to be awesome. They'll be
I'm
just
pumped
like
for
this
November.
one, just about other topics. We'll probably
Yeah.
get a little bit better at explaining stuff.
And this one will be easier to cut up, I feel like, if we wanted to make them into single videos.
Yes, like me sharing that Joe Davies tweet or whatever. Very easy.
We should look up how much it costs to have someone just run through and just cut it up.
I'd be interested to know if they get paid hourly or per clip or how that goes.
Yeah, $10 a clip, 10 clips.
Oh, that's not bad. You know, actually, before we end this podcast again, the podcast My First Million, what they did is they said you can cut up our podcast for free and post it to your own account. They were mentioning TikTok accounts. Post it to your own TikTok account, and whoever gets the most views in the next 30 days will send them $5,000. And I was like,
That's an Andrew Tate type thing.
I never thought about it like that. But in the back of my head, I was like, that's kind of a good marketing strategy because there may be 50 people who try to start spreading your stuff, and now they're incentivized.
And then it just starts going.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I know. People don't like talking about Andrew Tate, but that's what Andrew Tate did with his Hustlers Academy. Like, you got money back for just sharing, I think.
Oh yeah, like the affiliate, like kind of like a pyramid scheme.
Yeah,
I haven't looked too much into it.
I believe so. Don't quote me though, but I think that's how it worked. That's why you saw him everywhere.
Yeah, I've seen it even on Twitter. I'm not even in that space. I'm in the niche site space, and I've seen a couple people, like niche site people, like stuff that he has liked, and I check out the profile, and the first thing says, "I am not Andrew Tate," but then all the pictures, all the comments, like the profile picture is him. So I'm like, that's interesting.
Yeah. All right. End this podcast. We got to go.
Yes.